Well, hi folks, Stratman here from pipware.com. On the previous video, we were talking about moving averages. You would have seen me do two different sets of moving averages. We did the SMA 60 and the EMA 25. Now, it's all well and good when you put them on your chart just as moving averages, but when you go to change time frames, everything gets kind of a bit upset. So let me describe to you how that would work. And then a better way of doing it. So if I put a moving average in, let's say this time we'll deal with the 60 and we'll deal with the SMA 60, and we're on the M15 time frame. So for me on the M15 time frame, this means that I've got it like that. And now if I add in, say, the moving average SMA 60 from the H1 time frame, so that would be, that time frame is 4 times my M15 time frame, so it would be a 240 moving average. I'll just change the color. So there it is there. Now let's say I wanted to include also the moving average from the next time frame down. That would be my SMA 60 from my M5 time frame. So let's insert that. So the 60 on the M5 becomes the 20 on the M15, and I'll just change the color again. And there we have it. So this is my SMA 60 from my M5, this is my SMA 60 from my M15, which is the time frame I'm on, and this is my SMA 60 from my H1. Now, if I'm to change time frames, and I change down to say the M5 time frame, what I'd really like to have is that those three moving averages that I've got there all change exactly the same. So what I'm meaning is that this one here should be alright because that's the 60 period SMA from the M5 time frame. But what this one here needs to be is the SMA 60 from the M15 time frame. Now, in this case, M5 is 1/3 of the M15 time frame, whereas in the previous example, M15 is 1/4 of the H1 time frame. So this 240 moving average that's sitting here is actually incorrect because a 240 is not going to be equivalent to the SMA 60 of the M15 time frame. I hope I'm not losing anyone here, but there is a means to an end here. There's something that I'm trying to show. So if I go to the moving average, which is the larger moving average, which wasn't that one, it wasn't that one. And you see it's just a little bit awkward trying to set up all these up. This one really needs to be, because it's the 60 period off the M15 being shown on the M5, so it needs to be 3 times larger. So that means it now needs to become a 180 period moving average. And so there we go, we've got the equivalent now. So the issue with this is that every time I change my time frame, if I want to change back up to the M15, I've then got to change this one again to the 240 period, so it fits with the whole philosophy behind having the same period and type of moving average. So what's the better way of doing this? Well, the better way is to actually use the dashboard, and I'm just going to demonstrate that now. So if I add the dashboard to this chart, let's just get rid of the indicators off here for now. Okay, and I'll just add the dashboard. Indicators, whoops, insert indicators, custom, pipware dashboard. Okay. What I'm going to do is basically set everything that's to display to false, and then further down, if we go down to PW-chart area, we get the thing for the type of moving average we want, and we want a 60 period moving average, and then we need to decide whether we're going to display the one from the lower time frame, the current time frame, and the upper time frame. I'll set all those to true. And so we should end up with 3 moving averages that are equivalent to the SMA 60 on a time frame lower and a time frame higher. Okay, and there we have it. But the cool thing with this is, though, that as we move down and change time frames, so this one here is showing the 240 here is what it is for when we're on the M15. But if we change down to the M5, this one here changes to the correct SMA that we need for M5, which is the 180 period. So this is where the dashboard comes in very handy. As you can see, we've only got one indicator attached, but we've got the 3 moving averages, and they will change to exactly what we want for every time frame. And if you look, you can see how we can use this moving average strategy so well on any particular time frame we wish to trade. So here's kind of a retracement occurring here, so we could do something with that. Now if you want to change the colors and get it back to how we've just been trading, what I would do is I'd go into the indicators, and what we were looking at before is, on the previous videos, is the current time frame and the upper time frame. So all we need to do is turn the lower time frame off, and we can change the MA method to EMA and change this value here to a 25 period EMA. So now what should happen is that that's exactly what we've got. So if we go down to our M15, we get to see exactly what we expect, and change it to M5, the periods change the same. So if you want to change the colors now, just go into the dashboard and go to colors here, and you'll find that the last 3 are the moving averages. So if I change this to the purplish kind of color, and I change that one to a blue, and I change the width to 2 on both of those, then what I end up with is pretty much what I've been showing you in the previous videos. So the beauty of this is that you can change between time frames, and your moving averages just stay exactly how you would like them. And if you want to change anything at any point, you don't need to go into a whole list of moving averages here and change them all. You can just cruise down and find the appropriate thing for the SMA or whatever. If I want to change that back to a 60 period SMA, I just do it right there, and all the moving averages that I have change to exactly that. So there we go. That's just one way of using the dashboard. Now you'll notice that the dashboard panel is not here. That's pretty easy to do. All you do is just make sure that the window that you have the dashboard showing set to something that doesn't exist. So in this case, there is no window number 1. This chart window is window 0. So therefore the dashboard doesn't actually draw the panel part of the dashboard, but all the other parts of the dashboard do function. So you can get all your day separator, today, yesterday boxes, the session, like the Asian breakout box, and so on. Now, I do quite often like to use the SMA 60 because the SMA 60 does show up some rather interesting things when you look at all the trends. You get all these little bounces and things, but I think you will find that even the SMA or any other moving average, you can find these kind of things as well. So we can see how, look, price is bouncing off here and so on. It might come back and retest this point. But if I equally, if I change this to an EMA 25, oops, just here, the EMA 25. We can see kind of like a similar theme occurring here, and in fact we could probably consider that price might come down here and bounce off here. But remembering that really the whole purpose of the discussion about moving averages is the principle. At this point we're not trading long, even though price action is going long, because we're only interested in shorts. We're only interested in taking short trades because our faster moving average is below our slower moving average. Okay, I think I've hammered the moving averages theme enough and shown you the tools for creating them, making them easier to create for you with the dashboard, and also how to trade these things using trend lines going opposite as we do our pullbacks. Okay,